Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Fuel channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins. It is Fins Up Friday, and you know what that means. Today is the preview on the Big Fight Fuel channel for the New England Patriots going down to Hard Rock Stadium to take on the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, who are going to be wearing their white throwback uniforms on Sunday, which I'm very excited about. Saw pictures on the internet today. The red zone all ready to go. The field is in Miami Dolphins throwback logo at the 50-yard line. Absolutely amazing. I really can't wait for this and the game, and it's been a very stressful week. It's been a very hurtful week when it comes to the world of sports for me. So I apologize for the shakiness. I need a Miami Dolphins win this weekend like I need air. And it might not solve all the sadness that I have with the Phillies and even the Sixers getting robbed of a win over the Milwaukee Bucks last night. Although I'm over it now. I need my football team to come through for me this weekend. And I'm not going to lie, man. It started out very nerve-wracking on Wednesday with all the Tyreek Hill news and the hip injury and him not playing. He's off the injury report now. He's going to be good to go. Him and Jalen Waddle are going to play against the New England Patriots, but there is so many players that are questionable and so many big-time players that are questionable going into this game. And it's a game that we should not overlook. The Patriots are coming off a big win over the Buffalo Bills last week, 29-25. They're 2-5, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. Looking at their next couple games, if the Patriots can somehow go to Hard Rock Stadium as 9.5-point underdogs and get the win over the Dolphins, which is Hard Rock Stadium's a place they've struggled at before, their schedule's not terrible the next 3 weeks, with games against the Washington Commanders, the Indianapolis Colts, and the New York Giants. Now, I don't think the Patriots are going to have a 360 on their season. I still think they're going to be like a 7-win team, 6-win team. But maybe they can turn their season around. Hopefully not, though. But there's a lot of injured players on the Miami Dolphins, and there's also a lot of injured players for the New England Patriots. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questionable players for the Miami Dolphins. One of them being Jalen Ramsey. We'll talk about that when we get to the injury report. And then the Patriots have 8 questionable players and 1 player out, which is right tackle Calvin Anderson, dealing with an illness. So he will not be available for the Patriots this weekend. We'll talk about this game. The Dolphins need this game after losing to the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football last week, and hopefully they get the bounce-back win. And we're going to talk about it all here on the channel right now. I thank you guys so much for joining me on this Friday. I can't believe it's already Week 8, man. I'm sitting down on the couch watching. I got the Sixers game on the television, and I got the Buffalo Bills game against the Buccaneers on my phone, which, by the way, dude, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a legit chance of beating the Buffalo Bills. If Chris Godwin locates the football and turns around in time, that's a touchdown. Buccaneers kick the extra point. They win the game by 1. Instead, he's not able to locate the football. The football hits the turf, and the Bills go on to win that game 24-18, and they sit at 5-3. So Dolphins got to win this game to keep the first place spot. But the point of all of this is I'm sitting watching both these games, and I turn over to my dad. I'm like, dude, I cannot believe it is fucking week 8 already of the NFL season, which is absolutely wild. We're nearly halfway done. After next week's game against the Kansas City Chiefs, our second half of the season starts week 11 after our bye week 10. It's going to be really refreshing when the Miami Dolphins get that bye week. So be sure to subscribe. We got a lot of Dolphins content coming up. Sixers content has started. Going to try to make Sixers videos once a month for you guys, unless anything huge happens with the team. With James Harden drama, anything could happen any given day. So we got to be on the lookout for that. But if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead to check out the post-game recap video of the Miami Dolphins and the Philadelphia Eagles from last Sunday night. My vlog for Game 7 of the NLCS between the Phillies and the Diamondbacks. Going to see the Phillies lose in Game 7. Frustration all over my face after the game. Week 8 NFL predictions and post-game recap for the 76ers Milwaukee Bucks game last night. So we got 4 videos available, 4 new videos available in the week. So go ahead and be sure to go ahead and check it out. But of course, don't do that until you've watched the preview for the Miami Dolphins taking on the New England Patriots. And right now, we're going to get into this injury report. We'll start with the Patriots first. They're the away team. As I said earlier, right tackle Calvin Anderson is out with an illness, so he will not be playing. The Patriots have 8 players questionable for Sunday's game. Defensive lineman Christian Barmore has practiced on a limited basis this week. He is questionable. Would be pretty big if he's out for Sunday's game. Left tackle Trent Brown has practiced on a limited basis this week. He is dealing with an ankle and knee. He's questionable. Cornerback Jonathan Jones with a knee injury is questionable. Offensive lineman Veterinarian Lowe, he's questionable for the Patriots. Linebacker Josh Uche is questionable. Cornerback Sean Wade is questionable. Defensive lineman Keon White is questionable. And Dedrick Wise is questionable, the defensive lineman for the Patriots. So that's a lot. That's a couple big names right there, man. You're talking Christian Barmore, Josh Uche, Keon White, Dedrick Wise. That's mostly their entire defensive line. They have some good linebackers as well. Devon Gacho is playing, so they're going to have him. But that is most of the names on the Patriots defensive line. You also got Jonathan Jones, who's guarding Tyreek Hill most of the game. And, he did not play in the last matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the Patriots, the Week 2 game, which I'm going to talk about because I did go back and I did watch that game. And I'm going to tell you, what I saw from it, refreshing my mind. And, if I think the game's going to be different or pretty similar. Spoiler alert, I think it's going to be pretty similar. Then we get to the Miami Dolphins. I was about to say Craycraft. River Craycraft. He's back at practicing this week. He's questionable with his shoulder injury. Safety Javon Holland still in concussion protocol, but he is questionable. If I had to predict, I don't think Javon Holland is going to play this week. Brendan Jones, Mike McDaniel said today, has been taking the role of Javon Holland, and he's been communicating with the defense most of the week. So I don't think Javon Holland is going to play. That's just my prediction. I could see him playing, but I'm going to lean toward no with Javon Holland playing. Xavier Howard groin is questionable. Alec Ingold with a foot is questionable. Running back Raheem Mostert with an ankle injury is questionable, although he told reporters today that he is going to go on Sunday against the Patriots. So I expect Raheem Mostert to be on the field Sunday against the New England Patriots. Then we have Nick Needham with an Achilles. He's off IR. He's activated. I do think he's going to play his first game of the 2023 season, and that is going to be big for the Miami Dolphins secondary. And then Cam Smith, the dude doesn't play. I don't know how he's on the injury report. He's questionable with a foot injury. I think he's going to be a healthy scratch, to be honest with you. Connor Williams with a groin injury was moving around very nicely in practice today. He's questionable. And then the big one. The big one, ladies and gentlemen. Jalen Ramsey is questionable. And last night, we had all this dilemma because I was watching the Sixers game, and I go on Twitter at halftime, and most of Dolph fans are talking about Jalen Ramsey and the fact that he is going to play on Sunday. And Adam Schefter puts out a tweet that it is expected that Jalen Ramsey is going to make his 2023 debut for the Miami Dolphins on Sunday, and he's going to make his season debut against the New England Patriots. And then Ramsey himself puts out a tweet, and this is what he had to say. He was moving around very nicely in practice today, but this is what Jalen Ramsey had to say last night on Twitter. He quote tweeted Adam Schefter, and he said, "So this is why I got a crazy amount of texts. Well, this is news to me. MFers don't care about being right. They care about being first in today's media. That's sad." And he says he's trolling, saying, "I'm an Adam Schefter fan, by the way, so not mad at him at all for doing his job. I was just didn't know." And then he says, "Full transparency, there's a chance that I can play this Sunday, but that decision generally isn't made yet, so that is news to me, just like it is to y'all. LOL. I have to go through a whole process to feel great enough to play. I won't play if I feel any less than great." So Adam Schefter puts out a tweet. He puts out a tweet, and Jalen Ramsey backtracks. It's like, whoa. This is news to me. My team has not told me this. The medical doctors for the Miami Dolphins have not told me this. There's no word yet if I'm going to play or not. He's questionable. Do I think Jalen Ramsey is going to play? Part of me says yes, and part of me says no. I think I want him to play. And the reason I want Jalen Ramsey to play, because he looks like he's full, which is remarkable. When this meniscus tear first happened, it seemed like he was not going to come back until December. Earliest game he would come back was December 3rd against the Washington Commanders. And he said, "I'm going to beat this timeline from a month. You give me this timeline, I'm going to beat it in a month." And he worked his ass off, and he's jumping up and down on the sidelines. He's running to Xavier Howard, catching his interception week 2 against the Patriots. He looks great. I want to see Jalen Ramsey on the field. And if he feels good enough, if he feels great like he said to play, I want to see him on the field. He's a difference maker. He can stop you in the run. He can lock down your best receiver. I'm guessing if he's going to play on Sunday, I see him guarding up on Kendrick Bourne or Demario Douglas, which I'll get into Douglas in a little bit. But I want to see Jalen Ramsey out on the field because I want to see how he is. I don't want his first game to come back against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's like, okay, your first game back, we're throwing you right in the fire against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And you're going to be guarding Travis Kelce in your first game back, your first game ever as a Miami Dolphin. You're guarding Travis. I don't want that. I'd rather him get the rust off against the Patriots. I want him to play. And I'm going to be excited as hell if Jalen Ramsey is on the field Sunday for the Miami Dolphins. And how great is it that last week, you compare and contrast, last week the secondary looked depleted. A.J. Brown absolutely torching Kato Kohu. Eli Apple's a liability. Perry Nickerson's one-on-one with A.J. Brown. And Vic Fangio said, I felt held back a little bit without Xavier Howard and without Jalen Ramsey out on the field. I can't do what I really want to do. It's week 8. This defense needs to click right now. This is the week that the defense for the Miami Dolphins needs to click and switch the gear. This is the week. Going into next week against Kansas City, this is the week I want the Dolphins defense to step up. So that's what we're going to get into right now. The Patriots offense against the Miami Dolphins defense. This week, possibly, the Miami Dolphins secondary is going to be Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, Kato Kohu, Nick Needham, sharing slot, Devon Holland, and Deshaun Elliott. That's a deadly duo at the secondary. Who wants to play against that? Seriously, you're watching this video. Do you want your team going up against a secondary like that? Hell no. Hell no. The Patriots offense is ranked 25th in the NFL with 249.5 yards per game. They looked very good against the Buffalo Bills last week, man. The Miami Dolphins defense, they're ranked 20th with 345.5 yards given up per game. Patriots pass offense is ranked 21st with 222.5 passing yards per game. The Dolphins passing defense is ranked 21st with 256.5 yards per game. And the Patriots run offense is ranked 27th with 85.5 yards per game on the ground. And the Dolphins run defense is ranked 19th with 112.5 rushing yards given up per game to the opposing team. Now, I believe one of the reasons why the Patriots are so low in the running game is because they've had a banged-up offensive line the entire year. And now they might be without Trent Brown again. They're going to be without their right tackle, although they got Cole Strange, Michael Onwenu, David Andrews. The Patriots have not been able to run the ball as well because of how much they were down in games. You look at the game against the Dallas Cowboys. They're down 21-3 in the second quarter. You have to throw the ball. You're down 28-3 going into halftime. You're not running the ball in the second half. You look at the game they had against the New Orleans Saints in Week 5. You're not running the ball down 24-0 going into the fourth quarter. They've had some terrible offensive performances this year. Really bad. And I think last week was the spark that they needed. I was watching that game, and because the Dolphins didn't play till Sunday night, so I watched the Patriots versus the Bills. And like second play of the game, Ramondre Stevenson gets a 13-yard run. And then Mac Jones throws a completion to Pharaoh Brown for 25 yards. And I'm like, okay, they get a field goal on their first drive, which I think is great the way their offense has been playing. I knew right then and there this was going to be a close game against the Buffalo Bills. This was not going to be a pushover game. And I'm really happy that they beat the Bills. It's as gross as it seems, that I'm happy the Patriots won a game. If I'm going to be happy that they won a game, it's got to be against the Buffalo Bills, and that's exactly what happened. But this week, with the Miami Dolphins secondary, if the entire secondary is back for the Miami Dolphins, I think that it's going to give opportunity for the front four. Bring in Andrew Van Ginkel, blitz David Long Jr., blitz Jerome Baker. I think with the secondary back, if the secondary does its job, it's going to give opportunities to Christian Wilkins, to Zach Zaylor, to Jalen Phillips, to Bradley Chubb, to Raekwon Davis, because the secondary is doing such a great job. None of the receivers are getting open for the Patriots. So let's get into the keys of this game. Number one, get home. Get home. If the Dolphins have Javon Holland, and they have Xavier Howard, and they have Jalen Ramsey, I'm very confident in this secondary. And they have Nick Needham too. I'm very confident in this secondary to do its job, because you don't have liabilities out there like Justin Bethel, like Eli Apple, like Perry Nickerson. Teams can pick on those guys all day long and get away with it. So if our secondary is doing its job, those guys at front, they got to get home to Mac Jones. And I don't think the Patriots have a good offensive line at all. Mac Jones is a statue. Mac Jones is not a mobile quarterback, which is great. And if you get pressure to Mac Jones, man, I don't think he stands a chance. So you have to get home to Mac Jones with the front guys. Those guys are going to have to perform well like they did back at week 2. Bradley Chubbs, Andrew Van Ginkel. Those guys are going to have to come through again, and I think they will. Number 2, contain Demario Douglas. I can't believe his speed. Contain his speed. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Patriots offense going into this year lacked wide receivers. They signed Juju Smith-Schuster to a 3-year $33 million deal. And he has not panned out for the Patriots at all. In fact, he's dropped as far as the number 3 receiver on the depth chart. And you see guys like Demario Douglas getting chances. As far as I'm concerned, Kendrick Bourne and Demario Douglas are the top receivers for the New England Patriots. Yeah, I'm sure Xavier Howard will be on Juju. I'm sure if Jalen Ramsey plays, he'll get a couple reps on Juju Smith-Schuster. But Demario Douglas, this guy's fast, man. And he can beat you with his speed. So containing Demario Douglas in this game, I think, is going to be big for this Dolphin defense, so you don't allow opportunities for him to break one. And then finally, this is something the Miami Dolphins have struggled with, and it's guarding the tight ends. They struggled against Dallas Goedert last week. They struggled against Hunter Henry week 2, although that touchdown by Hunter Henry should have been a flag. But this is more on Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott, because they're covering the tight ends. Guard up on Hunter Henry, because we've seen what he's done against us, and we need he's like their top weapon. So Hunter Henry and Demario Douglas and Kendrick Bourne, they're their top weapons. So those are my 3 keys. Get home to Mac Jones, contain Demario Douglas' speed, and the safeties need to do a better job on the tight ends. Whether it's Hunter Henry, whether it's Mike Gesicki, or whether it's Pharaoh Brown, our safeties have struggled against tight ends, and they have to be better. Now let's get to the Patriots' defense against the Miami Dolphins' offense. Again, this is a matchup that a lot of people are talking about this week based off the last matchup, which the Dolphins still put up 24 points, which I will take, and they won the game on the ground. The Patriots' defense is ranked 9th overall with 311.5 yards given up per game. So they got a pretty good defense, although they are missing some players, which I will get into. The Dolphins, they are ranked 1st with 462.5 yards per game on offense. Patriots' passing defense is ranked 11th with 224.5 yards given up per game in the air. The Miami Dolphins' passing game is ranked 1st with 308.5 yards per game in the air by Tua Tagovailoa. The Patriots' rush defense is ranked 13th with 100.5 yards given up per game on the ground. And the Dolphins' running game is ranked 1st with 162.5 yards per game on the ground. So overall offense, 1st. Passing offense, 1st. Running offense, 1st. Another week where the Miami Dolphins own all 3 of those categories on offense. So let's get into this game. The last time, this matchup. The last time the Dolphins played the Patriots had their safeties far back. They were not going to let the Miami Dolphins beat them on the deep ball. And when I was watching the game back today on YouTube, I only counted one pass from Tua Tagovailoa over 30 yards, and that was a 32-yard pass to Jalen Waddle in the 3rd quarter when the Dolphins were up 17-3. But I think this could be different. I think it's going to be the same, but the Patriots are missing some guys. Matthew Judon is on the IR. Christian Gonzalez, who caught a pick in the last game, is not playing. Marcus Jones is not playing. Then the Patriots, they have a lot of guys who might not be able to play. They acquired J.C. Jackson, but right now I'm looking at the depth chart on CBS Sports, and they have Miles Bryant over J.C. Jackson, which I'm not buying. But I do think this is going to be a very similar matchup because the Patriots, they like to take away your best weapon. And our best weapon is Tyreek Hill. The last time the Patriots played the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill had 5 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Waddle had 4 catches for 86 yards and nearly broke one for a touchdown in the 2nd quarter. He got tripped up at the 15-yard line. So I'm expecting a big game from Jalen Waddle. Once again, maybe he gets 100. He's yet to have a 100-yard game this year. Maybe this is the week that Jalen Waddle goes for 100 yards against the New England Patriots with the way the Patriots play against Tyreek Hill. And the safety's over top, and they don't want to get beat deep by Tyreek Hill. But most of the Patriots' defensive line is hurt. Again, they might be without Dedrick Wise. All these guys are questionable. Dedrick Wise, Christian Barmore, Keon White, Josh Uche. They might be without these guys. And if they're without them, that's big. Now, the Dolphins, unfortunately, I don't know how their offensive line is going to look, because Isaiah Wynn, who's had a really good season so far, is on the IR. And it could be more than 4 weeks. He tore his quad, and he is on the IR. He's not going to be playing the next 4 games. So the earliest that he's going to be able to get off IR is Week 12 against the New York Jets. And even then, he might not be back in time for that. I've heard it's not great. So I don't know how it's going to work. I don't think Lester Cotton's the answer at left guard. I'm sorry. I just don't think that's the answer. Robert Jones played left guard for the Dolphins most of last year, and he did not look bad. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. He did not look that bad when he started for the Miami Dolphins last year. So, thinking Connor Williams is going to play, I'm playing Robert Jones over Lester Cotton and Liam Eichenberg. But what's going to happen is if Connor Williams plays, they're going to shift Liam Eichenberg to left guard. If Connor Williams doesn't play, Liam Eichenberg is going to be center. Probably Lester Cotton is going to be left guard, and Kendall Lamb is going to be left tackle. So I'm concerned about this offensive line. I just admit it. I'm a little bit concerned about the offensive line going into this game, especially if these guys play. If Barmore plays, if Wise plays, if Uche plays, they can cause havoc for the Miami Dolphins. So let's get into the 3 keys. Number 1, run the ball. Last time, Raheem Mostert had well over 100 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. He had a phenomenal game against the New England Patriots. He's going to play on Sunday. Give the man the rock and let him run with it, because he did it last time against these guys, and I think they're going to have the same game plan, where they're going to have 2 safeties over top, and they're not going to let you beat them deep. So what you got to do is take what they give you. And if they don't want to come up and play for the run, then take those yards with Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson and Savon Ahmed. Run the ball. Number 2, protect Tua Tagovailoa. Again, as I just said, I am concerned about this offensive line because I don't know how it's going to look on the left side. I don't know if Connor Williams is going to play on Sunday. That's a concern. He looked fine running around in practice today. We're going to have to wait until Sunday at 11:30 to find out if these guys are going to play or not. And I'm curious how this offensive line is going to work. But they need to protect Tua Tagovailoa, because I'm worried about that side. The right side, great. Robert Hunt's only allowed 3 pressures all year. 3. Austin Jackson has been he's been a soldier for you. He's been unbelievable. Those guys are great. It's the left side that I'm worried about. Kendall Lamb, whoever's going to play left guard and center. That's my concern. So you have to protect Tua. And my final key, they're going to try to take away Tyreek Hill in this game. So Jalen Waddle, get the ball to Jalen Waddle. This is his game. This is his game to do what he needs to do. He hasn't had a 100-yard game yet this year. I think this week is the week. I think Jalen Waddle is going for over 100 yards. And I think he's going to be waddling in the end zone this weekend in the throwback uniforms. So, how do I think this game is going to play out? I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I'm sorry. Division teams just know each other well, and they play each other close all the time. And that's not just our division, that's every single division in the NFL. Look at the Washington Commanders against the Philadelphia Eagles a couple weeks ago. The Commanders took the Eagles into overtime, and they could have won that game. You have Steelers-Ravens, always close. Browns-Steelers from earlier this year. The Texans go to Jacksonville and beat up on the Jaguars. The Chiefs play the Broncos on Thursday Night Football and only scored 19 points against them. Division games are always close. Not all the time, but most of the time they're close. And I think this is going to be another close game on Sunday. I do think the Miami Dolphins come out on top, though. If they don't come out on top, I'm slamming the panic button, because then it will be time to panic in Miami if they don't win on Sunday. And my God, with everything that's happened to me this week with the Philadelphia Phillies, I need this team to come through for me this weekend, man. I don't know if I can go through the Phillies losing Game 7 of the NLCS and the Miami Dolphins losing to the New England Patriots in the same week. I don't know if I can handle that. So they need to win. Take care of business. Go to 6-2, and let's prepare for the Chiefs in Germany. I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. I will be back Sunday for the post-game recap video between the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. And hopefully, we're talking about the Miami Dolphins beating the Patriots and advancing to 6-2. Hopefully, we're talking about that. So be sure to subscribe. Comment down below who is going to win this game between the Patriots and Dolphins this weekend. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter, @Colin_Joseph. And I will see you guys Sunday after the Miami Dolphins take on the New England Patriots at Hard Rock Stadium. Have a good one. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. I'm out. Peace. And fins up.